Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Grand Rising. Good day, good afternoon, good morning. Whenever you're looking at this, I'll just say hello. It's me, Sandy Crain, owner and designer of Neo Nappy. And of course, you know I'm playing my very familiar reggae dub in the background that I love. Turn it down just a tad so that it won't drown me out too much. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I will be covering in this segment, and it's going to be the last segment regarding this Bully in the Mirror series. I think this is number 2 or 3 video, second or third video covering this subject, basically dealing with my self-esteem issues and possibly yours as well. This is going to be the last one today, not because I've recovered the victory of everything, but it's just that I've decided it's time to move on, baby. Time to move on. So pardon me for a second while I get comfortable. You know, gotta get comfortable and cozy while I chat with you. Alright, so let's get this moving. Now, basically, if you've seen the other 2 videos, I was dealing with issues about self-bullying. And also today, Sybil Sand is here with me. Me and Sybil have come to an understanding, and we get along much better these days. Alright, so to go ahead and get going on this thing, like I said, it's not that everything has been totally recovered or resolved in my world, but I've decided that it's time to claim a victory. Today. Not tomorrow, not in the future. In this year of COVID 2020, today is August the 2nd, and I'm 53 years of age at the time of this filming. Not too bad. Black don't crack when you take care of her. Thank you for an amazing gene pool. Now, okay, on to more serious but lighthearted conversation. I make some notes about 5 things that I have been doing or will continue to do that have really helped me on my journey to having or gaining a much healthier self-esteem. So I'm going to go right into it. I had written down 5 things I'm going to cover really quickly if I can that might help you or someone you know. And this is not gender related. It's for male, female, whoever's watching this. If you have any kind of issues, or if you're having issues with being mean to yourself, that's what hence the bully in the mirror issue is all about. Bullying yourself, being mean to yourself. It's time to be nice to yourself. You deserve it. Okay? First of all, I always say admission is the first step. So what I had to come down to and say this was that, yes, I admit that I have been and am and possibly will be having issues with low self-esteem / depression. And it's just my opinion. I'm of the opinion that oftentimes depression may come from having low self-esteem. Depression is the baby that low self-esteem gave birth to. And today I decided to wean that low self-esteem off my teeth and grow up. The small kid in me that was hurting all these years, or even the adult that has been hurting, I've decided that she must grow up now. Okay? So, number 1, just admit that there's something going on. And it's not always everybody else's fault. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's just this gray mass in your head that is creating the problem. Okay? Next, number 2, forgive yourself. You know, none of us have lived a perfect life. We've all made mistakes. We've all maybe had a regret here and there, something that if I could have just changed, if I could have gone back 10 years and I changed this or that. You know, hindsight is 20/20. Forgive yourself. And if you need to forgive someone, forgive them. If you need to apologize to someone, do that. If you already have apologized to someone, and maybe they weren't feeling you were sincere about it. They didn't accept it. I don't trust you. Da 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 da. Or they swear that the apology never occurred. What happened, and they probably do too. It's time to move on. Let it go. It's too much of a burden to carry. If they are still having an issue about the way your apology was stated and they didn't think it was sincere, that's their problem now. It cannot be yours any longer. So forgive yourself for, if I can say, I've had to forgive myself for wasting time, wasting energy, wasting blessings, and not being thankful, and just always moaning and sitting around and looking for the dark spots in life instead of focusing on the bright lights of life. Learning to be thankful. Number 3 that I wrote down, something that I had to acknowledge, was that I have to want to make change. If you don't want change, nothing's going to happen. Because normally if you have a strong desire for some kind of a change, that should usually translate into some kind of action. So when you really want something, you can't just sit here and boy, I really want a new job, or I really want locks. I really want this or that. If I just continue to sit here and film and tell you about all that I want, but I never make a move towards anything, then I'm wasting everyone's time, including mine. Okay, so now, continue on to number 4. Starting with myself first, this is about being a bully in the mirror. Now I have to look back into that mirror and decide that I am going to be the catalyst of that change that I say that I want. So what am I going to do to start making change? Because I have to do something. You have to do something. Change has to require some kind of action. It's not going to just fall from the sky, or just sit around and pray and wait for it. You have to also be active in that change in your, if I can say it, in your recovery. Faith without works is dead, right? And some of the things I wrote down was I have to learn to control fear. Fear has to take a back seat. First, I had to get it out of the driver's seat, scoot it over to the passenger side, and now you got to get in the back seat and hopefully into the trunk at some point. And then shoot out the car altogether. Because fear, it just is debilitating. And fear, I think fear of being who you are, fear of thinking how you want to think, fear of everything, and fear of what people are going to say about you, fear of judgment. And if that's not even an issue that you have, then great. But for me, I think that fear, with a capital F, EAR, has been the foundation of why I have always had a very shaky self-esteem history. No matter what you see on this face, or if you think I'm pretty or whatever, thank you. I think so too. However, sometimes the prettiest people have the ugliest character, and I can contest to that because I am one of those people. Just stink of ugliness from within. So fear you have to learn how to tame that fear. And start making positive affirmations. When I get up in the morning, I go in the mirror and before I even get out of bed, actually, I just thank God for my life. Thank God for breath, for health. Because trust and believe, somebody is praying for that health that you and I take for granted each and every day, especially during this time of COVID when we just don't know what the countdown is for your life. You don't know who's going to get sick and possibly leave this world. So being grateful. And put some things in your glass. And what I mean by that, I used to joke about not even having a glass to be half full or half empty. I now have a mental glass where it's not just going to be half full, it's going to be overflowing. And my perspective is going to be overflowing and not just having the glass, but the glass has something that I love in it. The glass may have my favorite beverage in it. And it's overflowing, okay? My perception. And also, I had to stop giving away my power. What I mean by that is giving too much power and value to what someone else has said. Somebody made a negative comment on Facebook about my post, or on Twitter, or on TikTok. I didn't get all these thumbs ups on Instagram, or love hearts and all that kind of crap. You know, we give so much of our power away instead of owning it and saying, you know, is what it is. If you don't like it, beep, beep, you. And it doesn't mean you're a horrible person, but you have to just take some ownership for yourself. Okay? And you just can't continue to stay in the mode of being a victim. And I understand that some people have had some really traumatic things going on in their life where they really have been victimized. So I'm not trying to downplay that at all, promise. But at some point, I gotta get up off my bum and say, I am not gonna take this anymore. If I've been victimized, or if you've been victimized, maybe speaking about it might help in a therapeutic sense and becoming a champion for change in that area. Okay? And now, number 5, finally, moving forward in that newness of life. See, some folks may equate this to speaking about, well, that's what the Bible says, and fine, that's great, because the Bible has amazing advice and allegories and stories, as well as so many other books of spiritual power and influence, because it's supposed to influence you and encourage you in a positive manner. Excuse me. So yes, now it's time to move forward, baby steps, whatever it takes, because you gotta crawl or scoot even before you can get up and walk in anything that you're trying to do, is my opinion. So what I've been trying to do, and it's a daily practice that I try to keep up, basically indulging myself in new habits and new hobbies, or maybe old hobbies, and changing how I do things, creating better habits like the affirmations in the morning, and just getting up in the mirror and just, it's gonna be okay. I'm here for you. Give thanks to God, or whatever power that you may believe in. Give homage to your ancestors and thank them for surviving all the hell that they've been through to live and die for you and me. To give us this life that we take for granted with so many opportunities and stuff. So there's no more time to keep sitting around crying about, oh, how life's done me so wrong. Now, what am I going to do? Because I've been given the power and the mindset to want to change and make things better in my life. And I strongly discourage the abuse of alcohol or illicit drugs or whatever, because anything in excess is bad for you, in my opinion. And like I said, I definitely don't have doctorate degrees and psychology and sociology degrees, but that's just something that life is teaching me. Okay? So keep kicking that self-pity crap to the curb. No more self-pity parties. Cancel it. The invitation is torn up. Cancel that pity party. Nobody's coming. People are kind and a lot of them are nice, but after a while, people get sick of hearing that mess. People have their own problems, and now it's time for me to turn around and be someone else's strength. I can't just always be on Facebook crying about all this and all that, and gosh, I need prayer warriors. Now, mind you, that prayer is critically important in your belief system, but if all you post about is all your troubles and problems, after a while you're going to get beep, unfollowed or something, unfriended, unfollowed, whatever, blocked, because the energy that emanates from us when we are in that state of mind, just that pity party, you stink. We stink. We stink when we always give forth negative energy. You know, we've all been, out somewhere all day long and you forget your deodorant and woo, I stink. Nobody wants to be around that kind of funk. Not for too long. So people just don't care. I mean, some people just don't care, and that's just the world we live in, daggone it, Move on. We have to also enjoy the journey. Start learning how to enjoy the journey instead of always just picking out the potholes in the road. Because even though there's potholes in the road, and if you live in my town, Indianapolis, there are a lot of potholes in the road. We have to learn how to dodge them, to maneuver them, and still enjoy the journey to get to the destination. Pardon. Because life is a blessing. Even if you may not have always seen it that way, even if I haven't always seen it that way, I definitely see it that way now. And everything's not going to go perfect. It's called life. If you live long enough, you're going to experience some potholes. You might even have a few flat tires. But that doesn't mean that you can't get back up and change the tire and keep it moving. And start learning to pick out the good instead of always seeing the bad. The sun is still shining even when the clouds may be in the way. Simple things that sometimes it's just so easy to forget because you get overwhelmed with life and stress. And if you have kids and you're trying to teach them at home and you're working at home and everything else and face masks and all this kind of crap, and it's just like, oh my God. Just take a moment to breathe. They have the TV commercials on cable where they just say, 15 seconds, don't do anything, just sit there. Breathe. And just slow down for a minute, okay? Because I'm kind of, stressed out, kind of, I get a little frustrated and stuff like that. So, I mean, life is still going to happen. And also, my last point that I wrote down regarding this video is invite positivity into your life. Whether that's somebody, a person, influences, things, try to bring in positivity into your world. And like, for instance, I like to watch videos, especially on YouTube, about, encouraging videos. I love watching Les Brown, one of my favorites. Just keeping positivity, trying to learn how to manufacture those kind of thoughts in your head instead of it always just being negative. Because the brain, I don't know what it is about that gray mass up there, but it seems to always want to create negative until you try to get a handle on it. If you ask the question, why is the bad things always happen to me? If there's no answer readily available, the brain will say, because you're an idiot, because you're stupid, because you're ugly, because you're fat, because you're skinny, because you're black. And even if some of those things may or may not be true in the essence of how they're spoken, maybe we should start changing the questions that we ask ourselves every day and make affirmations instead. Trying to find positive, trying to change how I see things, how I see people. Because some people are kind of mean, but we do know, I believe it's true, that hurt people do hurt people. There are energy vampires out here that are looking for victims to suck out your positive energy and leave you for dead. Okay? So, and then on the same flip-flop of that coin, try to remove the negative influences if you can. Sometimes you can't. There may be people in your world or situations in your world that you just can't remove right away or at all. But even how you handle them, if you have to just put some distance in between you and them, then do that. Because you have to take care of yourself. Because you can't be any good to anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself, physically and mentally. Like I said, this is the final installment of this bully in the mirror stuff. But you'll still be seeing Sybil around. She'll help out with the shows and stuff. And like I said, me and her have come to an understanding. Because, your self-esteem will always be there. Your ego is always going to be there. But it's, how do you feed it? Are you feeding it poison? Or are you feeding it vegetables? Thank you for your time today. Appreciate you letting me share a little reggae. You hear that? Hear that little boom? Sounds good, right? Do things you enjoy. Enjoy life. Learn to enjoy life, because I'm no authority on what happens in this life when we pass from this portal to the next. It may be the only one that you're going to get, so quit wasting it. Quit wasting time crying about all that you cannot control and start trying to be more active in your own life. You know, like I said, get a hobby. If you can't think of nothing, go read a book or just anything. Watch a TV show that you really like. Find a series on TV. You know, do something that can lift your spirits. You know, right now I know a lot of churches are not open and stuff for those that attend church or your mosque or your temple or whatever kind of meeting. If you do attend meetings of faith houses and stuff. Right now, while a lot of those places are not open, so your pastor can't tell you how to think and what to do, or your rabbi doesn't have that advice for you, and maybe virtually they do on those virtual programs, but I'm just saying, you still have a mind to think with. Use it. Use your mind and start learning how to perceive things in a different light, or else you're going down a slippery slope. And I hate to say that S word, but suicide, we know, God forbid, is not the answer. It is not. So if you're contemplating it, I mean, because I thought about it once or twice way back in the day, because it always seemed like an easy way out, you know. But please rethink your whole situation. If you need help from someone professional, then go get it. Call a friend, talk to somebody. Get in prayer. But if you feel like you're at the bottom, there's nowhere else to go but up, baby. Got it? Peace and blessings to you. Thank you for your time. Ashe.